Probably a good idea. It ain't easy.
All right, I started broadcasting, so you can start whenever you like to.
It's gonna do the introduction.
Great, well, good morning. Gwen came from all the way, Palm Beach, thank you. And our singing extraordinaire here. So we're doing a symposium today as part of the Florida Healthcare Simulation Alliance. This is a network organization of different simulation centers in Florida. And we want to sort of bring everybody together, introduce to each other, share resources, and just provide a nice we can go back to Daisy and I, when we sit on the board with Mariana, who's online. And it's just a lovely group of people, really supportive, lots of great ideas, and we want to promote simulation and help promote all the teachings and the learning that we can have from simulation. So today, just a short talk this morning. We just have a few objectives, as always. So the first is to integrate simulationists to the Florida Simulation Alliance. We want to grow our networking, and we want to share ideas on how to address issues in our sim centers. All our centers face different issues. Some are common, some are specific, but it's a great place to talk about some of those issues and brainstorm some solutions. So today's objectives, just may not be able to read it all in detail, we'll just highlight some things. So this morning, we'll just do our little talk here, talk a little bit about what our plans are with the FHSA. Jean Ritchie will speak to us and talk about how our centers run. And then we will, around 12:30 have lunch. Yeah. At 1:50, Dr. Simon will give a little talk. And then at 2, we're going to do a roundtable activity and have a little panel discussion. All right. So this is our center here, the J. Wayne and Delores Barr Weaver Simulation Center. And we're going to hand this over to Jean Ritchie, who is our operations manager and very talented.
Recording in progress.
He's a great manager.
Walk-up music for Jean. I got you walking. Yeah, you're welcome.
So glad to see a couple others been able to join online. We appreciate you guys attending the meeting. We're super happy to host Gwen and the rest of you for this important venture. I know we were just talking before the meeting started that I was in simulation quite some time ago, about a decade ago, and it really was. This program was just getting started. But yet the Alliance was also in its infancy as well. So it's nice to see things moving along. We look forward to continued growth. We're happy to support you in any way that we can here in Mayo Clinic. I do want to take a minute and just kind of introduce our team that are around the table. We do have a couple of folks that are missing, but we've been fortunate to really amass a great group of people. Some with, and I always talk about the power of prayer. So we had some vacancies, and to be able to find the right staff was really a blessing. And so they've come with a significant amount of simulation experience as well. So I'm just going to go around the room from my left to right. And if you'll raise your hand when I call your name, Michael Franklin. So Michael is a biomedical engineer. So he's a fix-it guy, so he's certified in Laerdal and Barr. Also ran the Florida State College of Jacksonville Simulation Center. So he's now functioning in the role of a simulation systems technician. So he's responsible for a lot of the technology in our program. Josh Carter. Josh is our simulation technologist specialist, and so Josh's responsibility is to integrate things, work with our integration system, work with Michael, understand all of Michael's background as well, and they kind of job share, if you will, for cross-training purposes. But Josh has a has no healthcare experience other than working with some IT projects that included hospital-based and clinic-based activities. So fortunate to have him with his 10 different certifications, IT certifications on board. So nice diversity there. We've got Amy Allen. So Amy Allen has played several roles in the simulation center. Started as a standardized patient. She has a theater background and an opera background, so she's been able to incorporate song and some activities that we have here in order for staff to be able to memorize the roles that they perform in the hospital. She functioned in the role of a simulation technologist for about 3 years. And then she's recently taken on the role as the standardized patient coordinator. So using her background and her experience to make that group function. Performance.
No, we have 22.
Yeah, we have about 22 standardized patients on staff, so. Yeah, and then we have Storm Casey. Oh, yeah. Storm is the newest member to our team, but that's been since July, but is fully acclimated now. Storm has a sales background, comes from the UK. And then also when he came over, took a job as the anesthesia technician. So he's got hospital experience, he's got airway experience, he knows how to make things happen in the sim center, and so he's functioning in the role of simulation technologist. And then last on the, well, second to last on the table is Nick Ortegas. And so Nick is a trained paramedic. He's got a degree in IT. And then he's also been functioning prior to this role as a simulation technologist at the University of Florida Nursing Simulation Center. So great experience from that group. And then Daisy, we're fortunate to acquire Daisy. You all know Daisy's experience, but as our simulation educator, we're happy to have her on board. Together, I think the group is moving things forward. So unfortunately, we're losing Dr. Saki as our simulation fellow, but I understand that she has plans to stay engaged with this organization as well as Mayo Clinic. So we'll see how that works out. So the mission didn't stick on here. That's on the next slide. So I will look at you. I see that.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
You have to get rid of that, thing that got it.
Yeah.
What's that?
They forgot it.
That's on my computer behind you.
Oh, yes,
What are you trying to do?
No.
Maybe we should get rid of it.
The thing is that he has it here. Yeah, but there's no way to use it.
Oh, probably use the clicker maybe?
I think we're good. So not moving. So we'll get our tech team to correct it. So the mission and vision of Mayo Clinic simulation is really to support the practice. Now, Mayo Clinic has 3 shields. You can see it up here in the top left corner of the screen. And it's really practice is the key larger shield on the diagram. But we've got practice, we've got research and education are the other shields. So when we're talking about Mayo Clinic as a whole, everything funnels in to support the practice. So what we do in the research area and education, we all want to have an impact on patient care. As Mayo Clinic, the needs of the patient come first is our motto. We want to provide that hope to patients as they come to Mayo Clinic so we can, I can't hear. Imagine that. Is that better? Can somebody chat? Can you hear better now?
Better, or good?
That's Josh.
Well, I think,
Okay. All right, good. Okay. So that's really the fabric that we've woven into the simulation center. That's where we started, is that we want to be able to provide a safe environment for education and then also do it in a fashion that's going to have an impact, not only for the practice in the hospital, but for all the multidisciplinary focus. So when we opened the center, the J. Wayne Delores Barr Weaver, they formerly owned the Jaguars. And then after they stopped winning, they decided we don't want them anymore. So they sold them. And when they did that, it was right about that time that they made a nice donation to the Mayo Clinic for the simulation center. So as we walk you around the center, it's kind of unique in that we were able to have a blank canvas as we planned out our center. And so that gave us an opportunity to do things a little bit different than most centers. We didn't have to retrofit things. All the spaces are convertible. So when we walk you around the floor plan, you'll see that. But the staff are more like furniture movers because they move things in and out of rooms on a regular basis to accommodate different types of training.
Volume's all the way up on the mic.
Okay, I'll do my best to speak up. All right, I'm going to walk you guys around a little bit. Let me just talk a little bit first. I think Daisy wanted to talk about simulation across the enterprise. We use the term enterprise because there's 3 what we call destination medical centers, and that's Rochester, Minnesota, which was the first one. And then we have one in Scottsdale, Arizona, a location that's about the same size as the Florida campus. All encompassing those 3 locations have about 60,000 employees. We have pretty close to 10,000 on this campus and 10,000 in Arizona. But we also have satellite hospitals around because Rochester, Minnesota is about 100 miles south of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and they can't really accommodate a large base of population to be able to serve those hospitals, of which they have about 1,800 beds in Rochester, Minnesota. So the enterprise is a collection of simulation centers throughout the structure that come together to try to share best practices, to work on projects together, to be able to share different types of course activity, from faculty development to different types of things. We offer military medicine, which supports the government, and then those things kind of rotate from site to site. So we all kind of dig in together and learn from one another and have an opportunity to share best practice. So when you hear the word enterprise, that's kind of what we're talking about. So I'm going to take you on a little tour, if you will. We have on our externally facing website, this is also available, but for those of you that are into real estate, this is a walkthrough. So it's going to show you our floor plan. So when you get off the elevators, this is the look. It's really nice, a lot of glass and mirrors. But what I'm going to do is just kind of take you into the few spaces. We won't go the entire space. But those of you that are on the screen really can't appreciate the room that we're in. So I'm just going to slowly walk you around and keep you from having a seizure and show you where we are. So this is our learning center, which accommodates about 50 people, and we do a lot of continuing professional development courses with another arm of our education department, and be able to support education for external folks as well as internal. Where I'm drawing with the cursor right now is the procedural skills room, which I'll show you a picture of that in just a few minutes. We can do debriefing from any of our rooms. We have about 70 cameras in the center. And then this is another debriefing room, which is kind of a free thinking room with a smart board, glass walls to be able to write on, and then really cool chairs that we can sit in. You can see down that long hallway, that's the stretch of the back hallway that I'll show you a couple of rooms in which we have. The nice part about our program is that we were able to demonstrate exact replications of our clinic space. So we talk about an exam room where a lot of communication-based training takes place. We have all the items that you would find in an exam room so the physician can access them and make it real for the patients, as well as when the staff walk in, they feel like they're in a familiar environment. So we're going to walk across the hall here and go into the emergency room. And so same thing with the emergency room. All the gases in the walls work. The overhead lift system is the same system that's in the hospital. All the materials in the cabinets are those that you would find in that location. So it dispels the disbelief, you know, from a phraseology perspective. And then we have various other rooms. We have a med surg room. This is the example of the ICU, where we have, in addition to the mannequin monitor, we have a hardwired monitor that we can flip back and forth. The head wall in the ICU and all the rooms in the hospital are pretty much the same, with the exception of the head wall. So overhead lift system, we have the point of care testing items, we have a computer in the room. And then what I'll show you is in between each one of our exam rooms, we took out the television, and behind the mirror is where we have our control rooms. So I'll just take you briefly into one of our control rooms. We'll go down here by the operating room. So looking through the wall, we have in our operating room, which I'll go into just in a second, we have the OR1 system, which is the item that does the video integration in the operating room. So we can control image flipping up into the monitors within the room. We can take endoscopic devices and throw pictures up onto the wall. There's a camera in the lights there. But we have computers to be able to run the software for the mannequin, the software for our beeline capture system, and then be able to select which cameras and which sources we want to record, and then control with a push to talk microphone the voice of the mannequin, or an overhead secretary, or somebody calling in lab results that might be from the outside. We use voice over internet phones so that the providers in the room can reach the provider in the control room and have that one-to-one crucial conversation about the need that the support that they need. So let's see if I can walk through the wall. I don't think I can. I'll just take you right into the OR so you can see it's pretty cool. So in the OR, we were fortunate enough to get a X-ray table and a functioning tube. So our School of Radiology, which is housed on the same floor, comes over and practices using phantoms for positioning as well as taking X-rays. So it's kind of a dual purpose room. So the room is lead lined, but you can kind of see we have functioning booms and anesthesia machine. So it's pretty well equipped to be able to do extensive OR simulations. The guy who helped develop the simulation center, Dr. Torp, is an anesthesiologist. So one of the things that he wanted to make sure that we could do was to kill the power in the operating room. So we have a switch that we can knock it out. And then Michael's developed a fire in the OR simulator. So it's really a cool opportunity to be able to access that. I do want to show you one more image. There we go. And it's on the next slide. This is an image of our procedural skills lab. So we have 12 towers coming down from the ceiling, which have nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and medical air. We also have the ability to project images from any of the equipment that we have up onto the screens in the rooms. And then we have recently upgraded to 4 77-inch OLED monitors so that we can take images off of microscopes and high definition items and be able to display those appropriately for the learners. We've hosted some big classes in here, like a skull-based course. So we do cadaveric and animal tissue in here. Nothing live, but there's a lot of cool training that happens in here. We're also building, hoping in the summer, a temporal bone lab / skull-based lab. So we'll have another physical space that'll have 12 microscopes affixed to the tables with sinks and equipment to be able to have 12 learners go in and learn how to do neurosurgery or ENT cases. So that is where we stand with our center. Oh, I messed you up. Let's go through them. There we go. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. So just to tell you a little bit about the Florida Healthcare Simulation Alliance. So as you kind of alluded to earlier, the vision that we have is we want to empower the state of Florida healthcare simulation community. And the idea is to provide support, resources, education, and training. Thank you. To connect, the simulation community. It's okay. Okay. To connect the simulation community of practice with a focus on people, professional practice, the profile, and sustainability, of course. So the FHSA is actually Florida-based. It's healthcare focused. A lot of it is about simulation education. It also provides a great networking platform. We have a component of mentorship alliance, and we actually have over 600 members. And the idea is we want to grow that more and bring everybody even more closer together within the sim community. So originally it started in 2012 with a planning year. They received a grant from the Florida Center for Nursing. And then in 2013, there were 8 regions with leaders operating sort of independent meetings. So in 2016, they applied for an affinity group with SSH, which is the same organization that will host the IMSH conference that we're all going to attend in January. 2017, there was a pilot affinity group with SSH. Click this. Yeah. Oh, okay, so we're going to introduce the board a little bit. All right. So this is really close to me by Mariana. It's awesome. All right. So we have a little interactive map here just to show you sort of who's represented on the board here. So yay, there's me. So I am Nidhi, although I am a temporary Florida resident, but a real Florida resident at heart now. I am one of our regional leaders, so from the Northwest region, and I get to stay on, yay, after. Okay, let's go. Yeah, and exit. Yeah. So, okay. In our Northeast region, we have the lovely Gwen, who's here with us today. Gwen is very active in simulation still and just did an amazingly cool project that took her over to Africa. She does a lot of international work with simulation, which is really exciting. So locally and internationally, Gwen is quite well known. Yeah, so at IMSH, she will present some of the work she did for postpartum hemorrhage using simulation teaching in Africa, yeah, Tanzania. In our central region, we have Melissa. And Melissa is our, she's doing something. Yeah, we're very active member, I'll say that. I'll leave it there for now. Yeah. Oh, it's not very similar. Okay, and then we have June, who's also our region leader from Tampa. And in our southeast quarter, we have Daisy, who actually was representing Broward then, but now she will be here. And southern region, we have Nelson. Nelson's a really cool guy. So these are sort of like the representatives, and they make up the board. And we have Mariano. You can see his photo up there online. He's one of our original people. Joshua. That's the call. You want to go back to the presentation? be right here. All right, so at this point, we're gonna take a little break and have lunch, and then we will meet back at what time? At 1 o'clock. And we'll have a talk with Dr. Simon around 1:15. Yeah, yeah, and so after the talk with Dr. Simon is, we're gonna do a roundtable panel discussion, and talk about some of the issues related to simulation with everybody. So if you guys can come back for between 1 to 1:15. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.